Hello and welcome to Zambia Today. My name is Faith Katai. Happy Father's Day. On the program, we are looking at Father's Day, which is celebrated on the third Sunday in June every year. Today, June 21st, it's actually Father's Day. My guest on set is Bishop Chilada Jongwa from Grace Exploit Center. Bishop, welcome to Zambia Today.
Thank you, Sister Faith.
To begin with, let's define who is a father.
Before we define who a father is, I want to wish all the fathers today a happy Father's Day. And I want to define a father as one who is the source and the sustainer. A father is one who brings forth, and in this case, a father brings forth an offspring that has attributes of him. And so, in a nutshell, when we are looking at a father, we are looking at one who has brought forth a child, of course, not by himself, of course, with a woman coming to play to incubate that seed that he carries. So a father carries a seed, and this seed brings forth an offspring who is a child.
Great. Let's talk about the types of fathers that we have.
When we look at the types of fathers, being a bishop, I would take you to God as, first of all, the greatest father. And our relationship with him is that he is our father, he is our source and our sustainer. Every life on earth comes from him, of course. So God is a great father. And then he has also given us our earthly fathers. And these earthly fathers may be in two. Some of them are biological fathers that have birthed us, and some of them are fathers that have just adopted children. So this is the second category of fathers, who are the earthly fathers. And I want us to understand that a father is actually, doesn't have the right to own these children. A father is a vessel that God chose to father, and he's a steward. The real owner of every human being is God. So that's why we are saying God is the first father that we have to look to, and then he gives us earthly fathers who are biological, or those who have adopted children. Thirdly, we also have spiritual fathers, and these spiritual fathers may have various titles, pastor, bishop, and that kind of thing. They give birth to spiritual children. They bring them in the ways of the Lord, and they sustain them through teachings, through praying for them, and that is also another level of fatherhood. So I would look at it from those angles I've submitted.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So then what is the role of a father, let's say for instance, in our community, in the family, and the nation at large?
The role of a father is a very cardinal role, because when we get back again to religion, we realize that a father has been given a special role by God which no one else can take. A father has been given a responsibility to bless his children. And so when this father has been given this responsibility, it is something that we must not take lightly. My appeal to every man is that let's not take the role of fatherhood lightly, because we are all coming from God. Despite the fall, the attributes of God in us have been affected in one way or the other, but that still doesn't take away the fatherhood in us that God has meant for us to exercise. And so the role of the father in the community is to provide direction and guidance. Where there are fathers, there is direction and there is progress. So whether it is in a nucleus family, extended family, community, and church, the role of the father is to give direction and to have society progress to its desired destination.
Great. Let's now break it down. You
Yeah.
talked about God being our father, and also having our earthly fathers,
Yeah.
which are also biological fathers. Let's now talk about our biological fathers in our communities, are they doing what they're supposed to do?
Well, the answer is yes and no. Why I'm saying yes is that there are fathers, biological fathers, that are really playing their role to nurture these children God has given them as stewards, and to ensure that they grow in the ways that they are supposed to grow into responsible human beings. But no, to the sense that we also have irresponsible fathers who just have maybe impregnated some woman and denies responsibility, allow this woman to fend for herself. And that shouldn't be so. A real man takes responsibility of what they have brought on earth. So for us as fathers, we must take this time to actually reflect and do a soul search. Are we really playing the role that God meant us to play? Because we'll be accountable for that. You can't just bring forth a child, you refuse to take responsibility, and you think you'll be let go. One day we'll be able to account for it. So it's a yes and no situation.
That reminds me of something that is very important.
Yeah.
We have a situation here that you have actually cited where a man impregnates a woman and doesn't take full, total responsibility. We actually call them baby mamas. A situation where a woman is impregnated by a man and the man doesn't take full responsibility. What appeal or what word do you have for such men who do that?
I want to let the men who do that to realize that they should not take life for granted, because the very child that has come in that manner, from God's point of view, is still a lovely child. From God's point of view, is still a human being. And God has a great destiny for that child. If us as fathers do not take responsibility, time will catch up with us. Sooner than later, that child, by the grace of God, still grows through other people. God uses other people, and eventually that child becomes a prominent person. And at that point, all your energy and all your resources may have depleted, and you'll walk a walk of shame, and you may not even look at that child with confidence, because you'll begin to reflect. And that causes a lot of men in their old age to get depressed, because whilst we are in our prime, we are stars. We can't listen to anybody. We are all over spreading the seed and planting all this. That which we cannot take responsibility for, it is not right. So those of us that have children outside wedlock, I think it is time to take responsibility, to face the reality, and to know that this child that we have brought on earth, they need that fatherly love, fatherly guidance, and it is us to take that responsibility for them.
Okay. Bishop, let's look at some of the challenges that our fathers are going through currently.
Yeah. Some of the challenges that our fathers are going through, one of them is economic challenges. You know, today the world has become so rough. And for you to really manage everything that, especially here in towns, everything you have to pay. So it puts a lot of pressure on a man, such that a man wakes up early in the morning, goes to fend for his family. And sometimes by the time they are coming, they are tired and they cannot be there for their children. So that economic challenge has a toll also on the relationship that the father is supposed to have with children. Another challenge that we are faced with, it's, you know, the pressure, the real thing is that we now have more women in terms of population than men. And every woman wants to have a man, even when they know that this man is married. Some women today, they don't care. As long as they can have him, they are willing to share this man. So here is a man who is faced with this challenge where opportunities are calling him to say, here I am, I'm available for you. It's another challenge that is making some of the men that may not be strong to resist that, they are giving in. And in the process, it begins to affect the bond, the family bond that is supposed to be enjoyed in that setting. This man begins now to share. And ultimately, even the resources that he may have will now be split, thereby also causing more pressure on him and bringing a third problem, a health problem. Because if you are working throughout and you are not finding time to rest, what will happen is that your health begins to crack down. And that is the reason you'll also again find now many men are dying prematurely. It's because there is a lot of pressure that is coming from all angles on this one man, and he may not even manage to cope.
Great.
Yeah.
Do you think technology has also contributed to the challenges of men?
Technology is another thing that really we have to grapple with in our time today, because you find that a lot of things that are happening around us and a lot of challenges that actually affect the family unit is coming from the technology. Some of the men are now addicted to pornography, and as a result, they cannot play their role in the family unit as they are expected. Some of the men are spending more time on social media with the gadgets, and they are robbing the time that is limited that they are supposed to have with their children. That time is being taken, and these men, as a result of that, they are falling into things like gambling and so forth. And at the end of the day, men are depressed. And where is the depression coming from? It's coming from technology. Instead of technology being there to help in how we are going to relate, you find that here is a man seated next to his wife. He can't relate well with the wife, but relating with people that are very far. And so because of that, technology becomes now a problem to humanity instead of it being helpful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We now go on a short break. Don't go away. Welcome back. In case you have just joined us, you are watching Zambia Today, and my guest today is Bishop Chilala Jongwa from Grace Exploits. He's actually explaining to us who is a father and also celebrating with us the Father's Day. I have to do that again. Okay, welcome back. In case you have just joined us, you are watching Zambia Today, and we are focusing on Father's Day, which is falling today, 21st June 2026. And my guest in the studio is Bishop Chilala Jongwa from Grace Exploits Center. Bishop, people say nowadays the future is actually female. Do you think this has actually contributed to people or society looking down on fathers?
From my personal view, I accept and I agree that it's very true that some of the challenges we are having today is that the boy child has been neglected. I want you to take stock. You realize that many organizations, even government, at some point there has been girl child this, girl child this. The promotion of girl child became more prominent. As the girl child is being given that limelight, the boy child is being left out. And so in the process, that imbalance begins to cause this boy child who is being left out in the equation to have a scenario of survival. And then also the girl child is now being given a role that she is not supposed to get. And they begin to think they can be fathers as well. They can play, they don't care. I can have children, I'll father them as a mother. That is reversing the order of God. The order of God is that a man is a father, and he has a role that he must play to father society, to father a family. And so we must get back to the basics. We must not let go of what we have been holding on in a long time. The values that even caused our parents to live together for a long time in their marriages till death parted them, because they were holding on to the values of knowing the role of a man in society and the role of a woman in society. The two must not compete. Let women be in their lane and allow men be in their lane, and we will complement one another for the betterment of society.
Great. How should this day, Father's Day, be celebrated and beyond?
Well, my appeal to the men is that, of course, firstly, as fathers, we must reflect and ask ourselves, have we been the very best fathers we've been, or the very best fathers we are supposed to be to our children? Given an opportunity, would we love to have a father like us? For example, I must ask myself a question. I am a father to 4 children. Would I love to have a father like me? It's a time for sausage. What are the things that we have done wrong? In the inner heart, we should be able to make amends. What are the things that we have done right? We must be able to sustain them, and also be able to interact with our children. Beyond just Father's Day, let's have a habit as fathers to have time with our children. Because in the midst of many things that we do, somehow let's find time to catch up. And how do we catch up? Once in a while, we must be able to go out with our children. If you have both genders, sometimes you just be able to say, it's boys out with daddy. Take your children out, go and play. Remember, a father is supposed to be a friend to his children. Because when we develop that friendship as fathers, these children will open up. And it is in that time when we say, daddy with boys out, that you'll be able to engage boys to allow them to open up. And as that trend grows, even when they grow up, that bond would have been created. Also create time, father or daddy with girls out. If you have a girl child, as a father, you are a man who should be able to tell this girl child the reality of what men are and what they are looking for. Men sometimes can be wolves, and your daughter must be able to learn from the father to know the reality of how men sometimes can be ruthless and want just to use other children, other people's children. So let's take time on this day as family to also celebrate this father. He is going through a lot. Wives, take time to appreciate this father. There are many songs that are composed for mothers. There are many celebrations that are done for mothers. And when all these things are happening, you mothers are demanding from us, what are you buying for me for this? You know, interestingly, some women now, even in days that are not even related to women, they want to ask the father to do something for them. I think for once, let fathers in our homes also feel appreciated on this day, and let fathers also be able to take this limelight to just be on top of things, to correct the wrongs that have crept in our society. Society, I think, is going in a very wrong direction, and partly is because the father figure is not playing their role. And so may it be a time when all of us as fathers, we will renew our commitment to be fathers and to be the fathers that God intends us to be.
Great. Bishop, maybe you can mention some of the ways fathers, or some of the ways women can celebrate their husbands married women?
Yeah, married women must celebrate their husbands sometimes. Give your husband a surprise, you know. For once, let the women take us out. You know, surprise us with goodies. You know, a man is not very complicated. One of the things that a man wants is to feel that he is the king in his domain. Let the women get to that place where they acknowledge that you are my king. You, as my husband, you are my king. The moment a husband feels that and you are saying it from your heart, and he feels you do not demean him, anything that you'll ask Mama from him will easily come, because you have put him in his right office. And as a result of that, it will be a motivation for this man to go an extra mile for you, because he feels you have put him in the right place. So women out there, find creative ways of celebrating this man through some maybe foods that you may have not given him in a long time. Let this man feel special, and it will rekindle the love, it will rekindle the union and the bond in the family, and society as a result. If this is done, society as a result will benefit. Sometimes we have even challenges in these workplaces is because it is coming from a home. The father feels he has been dislodged from his throne, and as a result, he is frustrated. If he's a pastor, you just hear sermons of wrath. You brood of vipers. He is always angry. What is the problem? Why is the pastor so angry at the congregation? You get back, you realize that there is something that is not working out right. So dear mothers, dear women, dear sons and children, let's help this father who has been toiling all along, and let them be celebrated. Remember also, fathers are not angels. Fathers are human. We can make mistakes and will make mistakes. But that doesn't remove fatherhood in us. Whether it's biological father, whether it's a spiritual father, the mistakes that can be made does not remove the fatherhood in us. It should be able to be understood from that angle. And once we understand that, we will benefit in what the father carries in his hand for his children and for society at large.
Awesome. Bishop, as we come to the end of the program, what would be your concluding remarks as regards to 2026 Father's Day?
My concluding remarks to this day is that, dear men, especially here in Zambia, we are in an election year, and may we be on top of things to provide leadership and to promote peace, unity, and love. Society is looking to us. And if a man stands, even in your home, if a man stands to say, this is the direction we are going, everybody will follow. So men, let's take the lead. We are one Zambia and one nation. Let's celebrate one another. You know, the idea of only celebrating people when they are in the casket must be stopped and henceforth. The reason is that we have an opportunity to celebrate one another whilst we are alive. As I said, none of us is an angel. We can do wrong here and there, but it shouldn't be the reason why we should be divided as a people. Let society be a society of tolerance and embracing one another, and then this nation will be more productive. And it lies on the shoulders of men. So men, as we do our work, let's be able to be responsible as well.
Bishop, thank you so much for coming through to Zambia today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me also on this program.
Viewers, that's all we had for you on Zambia today. This has been Faith Katai. On behalf of the entire Zanis production team, it's goodbye for now.